It is that time of the year. The 2019 Immrama Festival of Travel Writing in Lismore is upcoming very shortly. We're looking at the weekend of the 14th of June, and there's so much going on for it, by the way. A lineup offers another all-star lineup of internationally renowned writers and broadcasters, with a keynote address from the first woman and youngest person to solo row the Indian Ocean and also the Pacific Ocean, and that's adventurer and author Sarah Outen. And also Neil Oliver will be there as well at the festival on the Saturday afternoon. But giving a literary breakfast is award-winning author and journalist Rosita Boland, and most of you will be very familiar with Rosita. She's a senior features writer, she's an author, she has won awards, she has a very recent book out called Elsewhere, One Woman, One Rucksack, One Lifetime of Travel, which I'm dying to hear about, and she joins me on the line now. Rosita, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
Thanks for having me on.
No bother. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, let's go back in time. In the last 30 years, you've been all over the world, from death-defying bus journeys through Pakistan. You've been in Antarctica. I'm dying to hear about a lot of this. I believe it all started with a trip around Europe.
I suppose it really started when I was 19, and like so many other people, I went interrailing for a month. And halfway through the trip, my friend announced that she was going off to meet a new friend she'd made, who was an au pair that she'd met in Germany when she was working earlier in the summer. She was going to go off and see her in Finland. And basically, I had two choices. I could keep travelling by myself, or I could go home. So I decided that I was going to keep going by myself. And it was really, I spent a lot of that time in Italy and really loved it. And I think that was the beginning, and I just wanted more.
Okay. And what did you love the most about those European countries?
What I have always loved about travel is it's really very simple. I just love to be elsewhere. I'm very curious. I want to see what other places are like. I want to smell what other places are like, have some kind of experience of other cultures, and the whole visual aspect of everything. It's just completely, every country other than our own is totally foreign to us, and even our own country can surprise us.
Absolutely.
At times.
You must have been quite independent and brave, at the age you were at, travelling on your own, because it is a real age where people like to do things in groups.
I don't see it that way at all. I think you're only brave if you're afraid of something and you do it anyway. And I've never been afraid of travelling by myself.
Okay.
Because, what's the alternative? You sit at home waiting for people to join you and you don't do it.
Oh, you're dead right. And did you ever get nervous in situations on your own? Or was there ever any time, that you found yourself in a perilous situation on your own?
The only times I've ever really felt very unhappy and uneasy when I'm travelling, it's always to do with local transport.
Oh, really?
Usually the local bus, which is overloaded and has bald tires and is overloaded inside with passengers and on the roof with cargo, and you're on terrible roads, and some buses drive with the lights off at night to save fuel, and they're all they've always been my worst experiences.
And are you a nervous passenger anyway? Because that would terrify me as well. And I have been in situations in Thailand where I genuinely thought I was going to die on public transport.
No, not I wouldn't be nervous, but usually. But you have to be pragmatic. If there's only one way to get from A to B, as there was when I travelled in Myanmar on unsurfaced roads, you've got to take the bus, and it's obviously it's a different country. It's not public transport, of course, as it would be in developed countries.
Sure.
And the other thing is journeys take far, far longer. So it's really difficult to know when you're going to arrive somewhere. And that's the other element. I always try not to arrive somewhere in the dark, but sometimes you just can't help it. Like buses break down and journeys go on for a long time sometimes.
I think the thing about travel, especially I think when you travel by yourself as well, is that you meet so many people along the way, and it gives you a real ability, I think, to talk to strangers who can then become friends, and to meet people of other cultures. And that's how you learn, I think, as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, the best thing about my travels and my souvenirs, if you like, are all the friends that I met along the way. many of whom I still have. I've got friends all over the world that I met when I was traveling. Lots of amazing encounters with local people along the way. You set off alone, but you meet so many people. And the only thing is, the last big trip I took was 6 months ago. 3 years ago. And I noticed for the first time that even when people were on their own, they were sort of stuck to their screens.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely harder to talk to people on that trip. So that's just one thing that I've noticed. Whereas, when I set off first, there was no internet, no mobile phones, no social media, and none of that. So it was much easier to talk to people. It's somehow easier to broach a conversation if somebody's reading a book or a newspaper than if they're looking at their screen. It's quite a sort of a private kind of a thing. I did still talk to people anyway, but it's definitely. But that's not just when you're traveling. That's
everywhere.
I think that's a problem with society everywhere in the world.
I think the difference between somebody looking at a book or a newspaper is that they're not interacting with somebody else. Whereas if somebody is looking at a screen, there's a really strong chance they're communicating with a friend or someone they know online. So you almost feel like you're interrupting a conversation a bit more if you try and talk to them.
Yes, and I think that, I suppose, for myself when I'm travelling, I love Twitter like all journalists do, but I don't ever post anything to social media when I'm travelling because I want to feel far away, and it's harder to feel properly far away these days if you can pick up your phone and actually interact with somebody in real time at the other side of the world. And that's not the experience that I want when I'm away. And also, quite apart from the privacy, I don't want people to know where I am all the time or what I'm doing and who I'm with. So I don't ever post anything to social media when I'm travelling.
Interesting. Are we losing the ability to live in the moment because of everybody having to capture something on their phones? There's a photo going around at the moment of people who are at, say for all intents and purposes, a parade going through a city. So you can see them behind the silver barricades, say. And people are all either filming it or looking at their phones, but nobody is actually standing there watching what's in front of them with their own eyes.
If you feel that you're losing that kind of ability to live in the moment, just put your phone down.
Yeah.
That, really.
It is as simple as that, I suppose. Now, your book is called One Woman, One Rucksack, One Lifetime of Travel. And this does kind of document some of your amazing experiences around the world. You probably get asked this all the time, and it's probably a hard question to answer. But if you had to pick maybe two of the top places you've ever been, what would they be and why?
My favourite trip is to Dublin Airport because that tells me I'm going elsewhere. And that's when my heart really beats. I suppose the most interesting place I've been is Baltistan in northern Pakistan. It was extraordinary. It's where most of the world's highest mountains are. It's incredibly extraordinary, almost science fiction landscape. That was really amazing. Antarctica was also incredible and really is, I think, once in a lifetime journey because it's so far away and it's so expensive to get there. I had an amazing time in Iran because my first big trip, I went overland from Kathmandu to Istanbul, and I went through Iran, and it was absolutely incredible. That was a real highlight of that trip.
Is there anywhere that you have yet to be that you want to go and you just never got round to it yet?
Oh, so many places. The more you travel, the bigger the world is. So,
anywhere in particular, though, that you'd really love to see on the bucket list?
I would love to see the Northern Lights and in northern Scandinavia somewhere. And I love the fact that you can't guarantee that you'll see them. You might see them or you might not. And I really like that it's not a definite thing, So I'd love to have that experience at some time.
Okay. Your book is One Woman, One Rucksack, One Lifetime of Travel. You'll be talking about that and other things. The Immrama festival coming up, of course, and you are giving your literary breakfast on the Sunday morning, 8:30am at Lismore Golf Club. So a nice early start, and you can get your tickets through lismoreimmrama.com. Are you looking forward to that, Rosita? Yes,
I am. And the title of the book is Elsewhere. One Woman, One Rucksack, One Lifetime of Travel. And I will be trying to encompass a little bit of some of the stories over 30 years of travel at that very early morning breakfast. But people say it's great, and I'm really looking forward to the festival. I haven't been to it before. And I mean, we all know that Lismore is the home of Dervla Murphy, who's the soul of Irish travel. So just to be in that area will be really exciting and the best place to be for a travel writing festival.
I can testify that it is really great, yeah. And actually, I'm pretty sure the whole festival was inspired by the fact that Dervla Murphy was from Lismore. But listen, it was really great to talk to you. Enjoy every second of Lismore. It's a gorgeous area as well. I presume you've been down that neck of the woods at some stage.
Yes, yeah, very beautiful.
Great stuff. Rosita Boland, thank you so much for taking my call today.
Okay, thanks so much.